In recent years, International Rugby League has seen a surge of high-profile players switching allegiances, reshaping the competitive landscape. The 2025 and 26 seasons are no different, with several NRL stars opting to represent their heritage nations or explore new opportunities on the global stage. These moves highlight not only the fluid nature of eligibility rules, but also the powerful role of identity, family, and opportunity in shaping international careers. Today, we look at 9 NRL players that are contemplating or confirmed switching international allegiances, so let's get straight into the video. AJ Brimson's decision to switch his Tier 1 international eligibility from Australia to England was one of the clearest headline grabbers of 2025. An International Rugby League tribunal formally approved his application in May 2025, a move that immediately put Brimson out of State of Origin contention, while opening the door for an Ashes series role with England. The switch has been portrayed both as a sporting gamble and a personal choice, and Brimson has publicly accepted the professional and financial trade-offs involved in leaving the Kangaroos' pathway for the chance to play regular Test football for England. For England, adding a versatile NRL-tested backline player with Origin and Test experience boosts depth and gives coach Shane Warne another creative option against Southern Hemisphere's oppositions. Valentine Holmes has long been linked to the idea of representing his Cook Islands heritage, and in 2025 those conversations resurfaced publicly. Holmes has admitted in interviews that he has considered playing for Pacific nations as a way to give back to his family's heritage and to help raise the profile of smaller rugby league countries, a recurring theme for players with dual eligibility. While an injury at key times has interrupted any immediate switch, Holmes' name remains on lists of high-profile players who could tilt the balance for a Pacific side if he commits. Whether Holmes actually pulls the trigger depends on his fitness, selection priorities, and the calendar, but his interest underlines how identity and opportunity are continuing to reshape international rosters. Payne Haas's switch to Samoa represents one of the most significant Pacific defections of 2025. The Brisbane Broncos forward publicly confirmed his intention to represent Samoa, a move that not only strengthens the Samoan forward pack, but also signals the growing appetite among established Kangaroos caliber players to wear their Pacific Nations jerseys. For Samoa, landing a front row of Haas's size and experience is a game changer. It bolsters their chances in major tournaments and adds real physicality up front with an 80-minute player. For Australia, Haas's departure is a reminder that ethnicity, culture, and a desire to boost Pacific Rugby League competitiveness are powerful moves that can outweigh the conventional pathway to Kangaroo selection. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow has been reported as weighing up a return to Samoa after having previously toggled between Pacific representation and the Kangaroos. Journalists and insiders in 2025 flagged Tabuai-Fidow as considering his international future, noting that while he has previously represented Australia, he remains eligible for Samoa and has family ties that make a switch both emotionally significant and practically possible. A move back to Samoa would add genuine X-factor, pace, footwork, and attacking flair to the Samoan backline, and would be another high-profile example of established NRL stars prioritizing Pacific representation at key junctures in their career. Tino Fa'asuamaleui's name has circulated in switch speculation, but unlike some teammates, he has been reported as leaning more towards staying with Australia, at least publicly. Rumours linking him to Samoa surface periodically because of his Samoan heritage, yet multiple reports in 2025 suggested Fa'asuamaleaui was not immediately following the recent wave of defections and remained in contention for Kangaroo selection. The broader point his situation illustrates is that each player's decision balances personal heritage, representative ambition, contract, and coach-player relationships, and those factors don't always point the same way. Koloamatangi flipped the usual narrative by publicly signalling an openness to represent Australia after having played for Tonga. Born in Sydney to mixed heritage parents and having previously represented Tonga, Koloamatangi in 2025 indicated the Kangaroos remain an aspiration. A reminder that eligibility can be fluid, and that some players move from Pacific sides back towards Tier 1 nations when opportunity and timing aligns. His potential shift underscores how eligibility rules, personal circumstances, and national recruitment efforts interact. Australia has lost players to Pacific nations like that of Payne Haas, but it also continues to attract players with dual eligibility who see a Kangaroos jersey as the pinnacle. Rising hooker for the Cronulla Sharks, Blake Brailey has publicly said he would be honoured to represent England because of his maternal heritage, and media outlets have reported strong interest from the English camp in securing his services for the Ashes. While Brailey has built his reputation in the NRL as a dependable hooker, the prospect of an England switch reflects a growing trend. Talented players with British parentage or ancestry weighing up test opportunities overseas when Kangaroo selection is definitely uncertain. If Brailey does make the move, England would gain a steady, experienced dummy half who could slot into a high-tempo attacking structure, and Brailey would gain a chance of regular international football that might not be available through the Australian pathway. Kalyn Ponga's situation is one of the thorniest and most talked about in 2025. Ponga has roots and family ties to New Zealand, and media and rugby administrators have openly speculated about the possibility of him becoming eligible for the Kiwis after a series of interpretations and rulings about heritage and representation. While Ponga has historically represented Queensland and Australia at younger levels, and remains contracted in the NRL, an IRL ruling and sustained public interest have made the question of a Ponga to New Zealand switch credible and explosive because of the wider implications for state of origin, national loyalties, and the competition for elite talent. Any eventual move by Ponga would be a seismic moment for international rugby league as a whole. Stefano Utoikamanu international trajectory reflects the complexity of modern eligibility. Born in Auckland with Pacific heritage, Utoikamanu has represented Samoa previously, but has also been linked to Tonga in 2025, reporting a switch that would be consistent with the player choosing the nation of closer family ties or better international opportunity. Reports indicate the prop is set to line up for Tonga after early Samoan appearances, illustrating how players with multi-island ancestry sometimes move between Pacific teams as selection windows and personal priorities change. For Tonga, acquiring an NRL experienced prop of Utoikamanu's caliber would help their front row depth and demonstrate the fluid nature of Pacific representation in an era of rising competitiveness. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of some of these eligibility switches and if you think any of them will come into fruition. With that being said, we'll see you in the next video and goodbye.